Hi, I'm Peter PT Townend. Not only am I the first world surfing champ, but I love this sport right here in Huntington Beach. We're going to celebrate the sport, its culture, lifestyle, and the amazing surfers that came before and after me that hit the waves around the world, including here in Surf City. We're going to share the PT collection with you on Surf Scene. And what a way to start our first surf show. I've known this guy that's here with me today for 50 years. 50 years he paddled out at my home break in Australia and surfing at Snapper Rocks, which is on the Gold Coast of Australia. And Corky Carroll at that time was a big surf star, like as big as it gets. Of course, I'd never met him before and I'd never seen him except in the magazines. And all of a sudden to see this guy out at my home break was a great moment. And Corky, do you remember back to then?
Oh, I remember it very well. You know, the little blonde-haired PT was, a damn good little surfer. Look at that guy's pretty hot.
So in that year, it's 1970, you were there for the world contest on the American team, which was going to be at Bells Beach. And a mate of yours actually ended up winning, Rolf Arness.
Yeah, Rolf won. It was a big day for the Americans, yay.
And was the American team #1 in those days? Because I think you guys ended up winning the team trophy as well.
I think so.
Yeah, because there was you and David. David was on that team, right?
Right. There was Rolf and David and Brad McCall and Mike Tabling.
Sharon Weber on the women. Sharon Weber on the women.
I think so.
Yeah, I think
Joyce
she won.
Hoffman.
Yeah,
Margot.
Yeah, it was a good team.
It was a good team. Dale Dobson was there. Purpose, Mike Purpose for sure.
So moving that forward. 72, you're in the world contest again, the one in San Diego, the last one.
That was my last one.
Well, it was the last one for all of us of that era of that world contest because I ended up getting in the finals. But then, of course, it went dead for a long time and then we had pro surfing. But to go back to the 70s, see this right here? Corky Carroll, #1, surfer pole, 1968. What was that time like? You'd won the US championships a couple of times already, and you were the most popular surfer in the world.
It was pretty bitchin'.
Did you make any money, though?
Good times for rolling.
Did you make any money?
For the time being, it was pretty good. I think, I made like $40,000 in 1968, which was like twice as much as my dad made. And he was the president of an electrical company, so it was like...
In that time, though, you had a tight relationship with Hobie. You had the Corky Carroll. I remember the mini model. That was the one you had in '68 when you went to Puerto Rico.
Right. We came out with the mini model right at the end of '66, beginning of '67, and I was heavily influenced by Nat Young's winning the world contest in San Diego. His board was smaller, not that much smaller, but it was. I think we were riding like 9.6s or 9.10s, and he was on like a 9.4. It was a little smaller, but surfing was better. And so it was like, wow, that's the answer, smaller boards. So I immediately started making a bunch of smaller boards and came out with a mini model, and we had it on the market for all of '67. And then in '68 we went to the super mini, which was like mini but more super.
So moving after that '72 contest, though, then California kind of went underground, and then you surfaced working for Surfer magazine.
Yeah, that was 10 years. I worked for Surfer from October 1st, '76 to October 1st, '86. It was 10 years to the day, door to door. It was great. And you were at Surfing magazine, and we were kind of the competing ad directors.
We were man on man in the ad field.
Me against PT for ads, but it was it's like we always had a great relationship, and the magazines competed pretty intensely. But we were cool.
Yeah, no, we were cool. The editorial team wasn't so cool.
No, they were. There was a little more vicious infighting going on.
There was some memorable Arthur and Larry Flame Moore episodes, do you remember?
There was some stuff that,
So, one of the things that you're most known for was your Miller Lite commercials. And we've got some great footage of you from an interview you did with me when I had my TV show, Wave Watch. We're going to go catch that.
Cool.
How did the Miller Lite thing come about? You know, in the middle of, while you were working at Surfer, all of a sudden you appeared in the Miller Lite commercials.
Well, you know, I was innocently minding my own business. I was over in Hawaii surfing, which I was a lot during those days, and they tracked me down over there. I'd just gotten out of the water. The surf was big. I was surfing pipeline. It was, 10, 12-foot day. Surf was coming up, and I got out of the water about lunchtime, popped open a light beer, and walked out on the porch. This is true. I'm not making this up. And I was sitting there, and the phone rang, and I answered it, and it was a lady from New York from an agency asking me if I wanted to do a light beer commercial. I looked at the light beer in my hand and went, yeah, right, who is this? There's somebody up and down the streets putting me on, So it took her about 10 minutes, but she finally convinced me that they really wanted me to do a light beer commercial. So I said, yeah, I'm sure, okay. All right, I got nothing better to do. I'd be glad to do a light beer commercial.
Wow, Corky, can you believe how young we look there?
And the amazing part is, we've hardly changed.
Well, another huge part in that era, coming out of the 70s, was your music. I mean, you were headlining the Golden Bear.
Yeah, that I've always been into music since the early 70s, and it's just kind of made a huge resurrection recently. I got a new record contract from Darla Records a couple years ago. They released all of my, not all of them, but almost all my old albums, and a best of, and then I did a new one called Blue Mango. And that led to our new surf company, Blue Mango Surf, which Joel Saltzman and I started, and we've got surfboards and t-shirts and hats and all kinds of cool stuff. And so the whole Blue Mango music thing brought that on, and geez, it's kind of like, back in the...
And you roped in another old compadre of yours from back in those days, Mike Purpose, on the Blue Mango thing.
Yeah, well, the first thing we did is Joel's from South Bay. I went, you see Purpose? And he goes, yeah, I see him all the time. I go, let's get him involved. He's still surfing, and he's still active, and he's still stoked. He doesn't have the hat, but... So I always liked Mike Purpose.
Yeah, so during that music era, though, you had a lot of association with a lot of famous musicians. I mean, a lot of guys played with you, and you played around the Beach Boys, and of course, Five Summer Stories. There was a whole music thing going on at that time.
Yeah, I was real deep into music for a long time and played with a lot of really good people, Chris Darrow, and did some stuff with the Beach Boys, and Janet Dean.
And the Honk guys?
And actually, Richard Steckel from Honk played on the Blue Mango album along with Chris Darrow and Matt McGarrah. And Tristan Bowden played on one of my cuts. He was in Honk and then Chicago and Kenny Loggins.
He was on Chicago for like 20 years, right?
Yeah, I think longer. Yeah. And he's still playing with Kenny Loggins, I think. And so, yeah, music was always lived in my bones. It's still going, and I'm getting ready to play again this winter for some shows.
Well, you used to do Dukes, remember? I remember all the down at Dukes, you'd be playing down there.
Yeah, I was the house band at Dukes for a year, from when they opened until when I went to Mexico.
So hey, let's talk about Mexico. You disappeared on us, and you found Raquel, and you're down there. And
yeah, I got lucky.
And tell us a little bit about the spot in Mexico. I mean, I see all the pictures you post all the time of this nice little laps, and you're still ripping too.
Well, it's another thing. I got lucky. I was going down there a lot. I had a client that hired me to teach him to surf, and he liked this left point break down in Mexico, and so he hired me like a week a month for like 5 years to go teach him to surf at this spot. And then property came available right up there to buy, and it was cheap, and it was sort of like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. Rather than take people on surf trips, I'll just bring them to me. And so built a house there and started bringing people. They stay at our house, and we feed them and drink them and surf them and tell them stories and send them home happy. It's kind of an upscale surf trip. And my beautiful wife Raquel, who I got super lucky meeting her, and she's an amazing cook. And
then there's a famous drink. I see it posted all the time. The Corkorita.
Oh yes, we have the Corkorita at sunset on the deck every night. It's traditional. You don't want to miss that. It's very good.
So I gather that you and Raquel are going to end up for the rest of your life at that little left-hand point break. What could be better?
Nothing. It's like I got the greatest girl in the world at a greatest surf spot, and the water is always 80, and it's just, it's one of those spots that's like perfect. It's like Malibu but a left, And even when it gets big, it's not going to hurt me. You know, it's a real easy wave, perfect, fast, but it's not like, you know, this deep. It's a safe spot and totally bitching.
So, you've been connected to Surf City, Huntington Beach for nearly most of your life. You went to Huntington Beach High School. You were on the main street when the epic days of all the surf shops on Main Street. You had Corky Carroll space sticks, if I remember right. And Huntington Beach has been good to you.
Huntington Beach has always been and still is basically my home. I mean, my main address is here in Huntington Beach. Get all my mail here, my bank's here. You know, most of my friends are here, both of them.
And some kids.
George.
And some kids.
And my kids are here. You know, Clinton, my grandson Cannon, and Casey and Tanner, my other two kids. And so, Huntington Beach is still home. I'm, you know, in Mexico most of the time, but Huntington is still my home.
Well, Corky, it was great to have you here, mate. And one of these days I'm going to come visit you in Mexico. I've been threatening and you've been inviting me, but I haven't showed up yet.
We're looking forward to it, you know. And it's always great to be here, you know.
And I don't mind going backside.
That's good, there's no rights.
It was great to have you, mate.
Thanks, good to be here.
I could dig one out there and run a few waves. Pretty good. All right. Whew. Out of sight. Hi. How are you? Good, good. This is gonna be fun city out here. I love pipeline. Oh man, the saltwater's life feels so good. I like it. All right, off the bottom, off the top. That's the way I like it. Off the bottom, off the top. Backwards, cowabunga. It's actually coming out here. I'll just stall into it. For me. Thank you. Something about the pipe, it always teaches a little respect right off. Hey! Up the top! That was definitely fun. What happened to the back half of your board?
There's more of that great stuff to come, but I'm going surfing right now. There's waves out here.